Hey, my friend, welcome to Parenting A to Z. I'm Kelly Bourne, and this week we're talking all about Zen, how to introduce mindfulness to your kids when maybe they're the kind of kids that get ants in their pants. Maybe they're the kind of kids that can't sit still for more than 2 seconds. So I've got 5 different tools and strategies you can try that are really fun that I think your active kids are really going to enjoy. I think one of the biggest misconceptions with mindfulness is that in order for us to be mindful, we need to be really quiet and sitting really still and being really focused. Yeah, I know. And for a lot of us with active kids, that seems like the impossible task. But really what mindfulness is just being present. It's being aware of the here and now. And that doesn't mean you need to be sitting in silence for 25 minutes in order to learn what mindfulness is and in order to reap the benefits of mindfulness. It can decrease our anxiety. It improves our attention and our focus. It helps us find clarity. It helps us find our calm when we can pull on our mindfulness practice when we're feeling really stressed and we're feeling really agitated. One of the biggest things from a parenting standpoint that mindfulness brings is just it helps our kids regulate their emotions on their own so we're not constantly having these high peaks and low valleys. Having that mindfulness allows them to self-regulate and self-soothe so they can be more on an even keel. And it allows them to respond with focus and with attention and with clarity when it is called on them and when they're facing stress and frustration. So I've got 5 different activities you can try with your kids who are really active. If you've thought that mindfulness is just like a lost freaking cause for your kids, this one is for you. And one strategy that I really like to use with my kids, it's not even a strategy, it's just play and it's fun, is activating their spidey senses. And if your kids aren't into Spider-Man, that's totally cool. It can be a princess or a character on TV or another superhero, or for older kids, even a character in a movie. But for us, we use spidey senses and we get them to activate their superpowers. So talking to them about activating their superpowers and getting them to really intently focus on what they're seeing and what they're hearing and what they can touch and how their senses are supersized when I know I'm getting really animated even talking about it, but getting them to describe what they are experiencing and what they're seeing when those superpowers are activated and their senses are really tuned in to what's going on around them. That's mindfulness right there. And it's so much more than sitting and being quiet and being calm and still. Of course, that works for a lot of kids. But if your kids are active, this is a really, really great, fun alternative to get them to practice tuning in and describing what's going on around them. Another really fun, active way that we are working with our kids to get them to engage with the present moment and get them to focus on what they're experiencing is something that we call jump around. Any other House of Pain? I know I'm such a not a gangster at all, but I love all that old music. We'll blast the music, we'll get our kids to jump around, being really active. You can put on whatever tunes that they're into, and then we'll shut the music off and just get everyone to lay down, close their eyes, and be really still. And then I know I'm closing my eyes too, just because that's what we do in the moment. And then getting them to pay attention and getting them to just be quiet and listen to what they're hearing. Listen to what their body's telling them, getting them to put their hand on their heart and feel their heart beating and tell you what that feels like and what that sounds like and how their legs feel and how their arms feel, how their body feels, what they're seeing, what they're hearing. Paying attention to their elevated heart rate and maybe even their elevated breathing or their belly going up and down. That's all mindfulness right there. Just getting your kids to have fun, be active, and then pay attention to what's going on in their bodies. It's really fun. Something else that works really well if your kids like to eat, if your kids are into snacks, and whose kids are not into snacks, oh my goodness, is to try doing a blindfolded taste test. Again, really fun, not the typical thing you think of when it comes to mindfulness, but by making it fun, having some things that are crunchy, some that are salty, some that are sweet, just a wide variety of things from watermelon to granola bars to crackers to cheese to whatever, to yogurt, all the things they like eating, you can blindfold them and then practice doing a taste test and asking them, how does it feel in your mouth? What are you tasting? What do you think it is? Is it crunchy? Is it sweet? Asking them all those questions just to slow down. I know, again, I'm closing my eyes. I'm such a weirdo. but to pay attention to what's going on in the present moment. I feel so sneaky with all these tips, but they really do help with our active kids. Another thing that's really fun is we take our kids on noticing walks. So I know that probably sounds weird, but we will go for walks with our kids where the sole purpose of the walks is to talk about all the stuff we notice. And again, zeroing in on the senses. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? All of those things, and getting them to explain what's going on and what they're noticing, and taking those moments for everybody to be really quiet and listen for, I know it's like I'm doing this right now here with you, getting really quiet and then hearing what they can hear and describing what they're hearing. And it's also a really fun, engaging way to spend time as a family. So you're having that togetherness time, you're having that connection time, you're having that quality time, while also boosting up your kids' sense of mindfulness. And you're essentially teaching them how to get grounded, how to pay attention to the leaves, how to pay attention to the sky and the trees, and how to pay attention to what they're hearing and seeing and feeling. Just noticing. So a noticing walk, again, is a really fun thing you can do. And something else you can do when you're on your noticing walks, or you can do this at home or in the grocery store or really wherever, is we call it 5 things. So again, you're focusing on your 5 senses. So thinking of the 5 senses, what are 5 things you can see, 5 things you can hear, 5 things you can touch. I'm losing track of the senses as I'm explaining it to you. But getting them to do that, again, it gets them to focus on the present moment and focus on what they can see and what they can hear, and really dial it in without having to sit and close their eyes and teach them how to meditate. So it's so fun. It's a great option. Give it a try and see how it goes. You may find that you got a new fun family activity. I know, I'm such a loser, but I can't help it. Give it a try, for real. I think you'll like it. And the other thing too that goes along with that, with the 5 things piece, is it works really well for us adults too when we start ruminating. So you know when you get that like tape that keeps playing in your head of like how you're a bad mom, or how you made all these mistakes, or how come this is happening again, and you know when you start to, that train starts going, please tell me I'm not the only one that happens to. But the 5 things mindfulness tool also helps us when our mind starts going to snap out of that. Because when you're focused on what are 5 things I can see, what are 5 things I can smell, what are 5 things that I can hear, you're not thinking about whatever was driving you bonkers. You're now focused and distracted on this new task, and you're being mindful. You're coming back to the present moment. You're coming back to what's real and what's around you, and not this made up thing that you're spinning in your head. So again, that's a really good one to put in your back pocket for adults the next time your brain starts going. So I hope that helps. I know I'm sending it out to all my other fellow parents of really active kids who are wanting to teach them to be aware of what's going on. You're wanting to teach them to be mindful, but it seems like all the resources out there are for kids who like to be really quiet and sit still. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. Give it a go. Let me know how it goes. Leave any questions or comments below. Of course, if you're looking for any more in-depth parenting resources and support, don't forget to check us out in the Parenthood. I hold regular office hours, and it's lots of fun. So merry mindfulness. I hope you can find your zen and help your kids do the same. I'll see you in the next video.